Hello, everybody. Okay, so I'm Nisha, I'm from Yodel, and I'll be doing today's presentation with Toby from SMRS. First of all, massive thank you to In-House Recruitment Network and for SMRS for inviting me along today to talk about the journey that we've been on at Yodel to redevelop our employer brand and improve our candidate experiences. So I'm going to kick off straight away by just telling you a little bit more about who Yodel are. I'm going to put my hand up and admit that I didn't know who Yodel were until about a year ago, until I joined them. I actually worked right next door to the site. I didn't have a clue who they were and what they did. But Yodel have been there very busily working away since 2005 as one of the UK's leading parcel carriers. We are independently owned, and we deliver parcels on behalf of around 1,000 clients, including many well-known online and high street retailers. Just a couple of numbers for you. We deliver approximately 145 million parcels a year. And during peak, and you'll hear me talk about peak quite a lot because that's basically our busiest period in the year, and that happens between September and December, in line with the retail trading times. We basically can be delivering up to 1 million parcels a day. During peak as well, we can have around 16,000 colleagues working for us as well. So, with regards to the recruitment team, we're based in Liverpool in the Albert Dock. We're quite a small team, but quite effective, and we recruit for our two head office functions. One is based in Hatfield, and one is based in Liverpool. And we also recruit for around 60 operational sites. So we have 47 service centres dotted around the UK, and 3 national sort and transport hubs as well. Predominantly, our vacancies are generated from those operational sites. That's a team that I actually manage. And at the moment, right now, because it's peak, we're recruiting 3,000 staff to come and join us to help us deliver parcels for all you guys, buying presents and all sorts of things in Black Friday sales. So that's just a little bit about who we are. So I'm just going to take you back in time in my time machine 11 months. And that's actually when our new head of resourcing, Ben Gledhill, joined the recruitment team. Many people might know Ben because he's quite a well-known speaker at events like this, but today he thought he'd take a break and give me a go, so God help me. Basically, when Ben first joined, quite quickly, he started off a massive transformation change programme, which basically is going to be touching all elements of our hiring process. And one of the first things we did, and it sounds like a really simple exercise, we actually just sat down as a senior team in a room, and Ben asked us to think about what our candidate journey looked like, and he asked us to consider 3 different things. Those things were, what is our candidate journey start to finish? So what does that look like? What does that involve? What are the different touch points? We then were asked to think about, what do our candidates feel as they go through that journey? And what do our candidates think? And that's something we probably don't always consider. Like, what do our candidates emotionally think about when they're applying for a job on our website? We knew what we thought, but we had to start thinking about actually what does our candidates think. And that then quite quickly started us on our employer brand journey and created us to think about the 3 kind of key objectives that we wanted to consider when doing our employer brand project. And those things were about raising awareness about our brand, improving brand awareness overall, developing and defining our EVP, because nobody really knew who Yodel were, but also nobody really knew why they should come and work for us. We really needed to understand internally what our EVP was and then use that to establish our employer brand. And the other thing that we wanted to do is just overall improve what our candidate experience was when someone was applying for an opportunity with Yodel. Ultimately, we are all aware of the challenges that we have at the moment because of market conditions, Brexit, and everyone has been talking today about the issues that we're all having to try and find candidates. Add to that for Yodel the complexities as well surrounding the gig economy. A majority of the roles that we recruit are self-employed propositions, so these are drivers or couriers who work for themselves. And there's actually quite a lot of smoke and mirrors and noise surrounding the gig economy at the moment. So we wanted to make sure that anything we did going forward basically made what we were offering transparent to people looking for opportunities in that marketplace. So what did we need to do? Well, first and foremost, we needed to define our EVP. One thing that Ben and the rest of the team were very clear about is we didn't want to make up an employer brand. We wanted it to be really real, we wanted it to be really authentic. So we wanted to work with a partner who would help us to understand what was Yodel's competitive edge, what made people want to work for Yodel. The other thing that we really wanted to do is work with somebody who really had a good relationship with us and who could really understand our business. And that's where working with SMRS in partnership has been really helpful, because they've been a media buyer for us for a number of years already and understand the challenges of working in this marketplace. So it definitely helped to work with them to help us to define our UVP. And then the other thing that we really wanted to do is get their support with making our website just basically better. And I'll explain why in a moment. But we all know that the impact of mobile phones has had on all of our lives, and it's also social media with the way that we use the internet. But actually, how many of us have actually looked at our websites and looked at how well they work on mobile phones? And we were guilty of that at Yodel. Our website basically could work on a mobile phone, but it didn't do it very well. So that was one of the key things we really wanted to pick out when we did this project. So in summary, we wanted to raise brand awareness, create more interest for our opportunities, make our website a lot more attractive and make it easier for people to apply for our opportunities. And we wanted to create an employer brand toolkit that was consistent across all platforms, and that really basically, if anyone was looking at any of our recruitment material, had a generic attractiveness to it and that people understood it was Yodel that was advertising. So I'm going to hand over to Toby now, who's going to talk you more through our EVP development.
Thank you very much, Nisha. What Nisha has said there, I think, sums it up fantastically, that the team looked at their whole end-to-end recruitment process and wanted to change. They realised they needed to make improvements to help achieve the business objectives. What Nisha didn't say is that we had between May and the beginning of September to do all of that. So we've just about made it through there.
I've dyed my roots.
Me too. And really the starting point for us was working very closely with Nisha and Ben and the team to understand exactly what it was that was needed to be done, and to put in place a process that would enable us to do all of the things in the right order, because fundamental to it was the development of the EVP. And in the terms of what we were talking about here as an EVP, it was about articulating who Yodel were, how we could help attract, convert, and get people to apply to the roles that Yodel needed to fill, but also reassure those people who were currently there that we were articulating exactly what it was like to work for the organisation. It was really easy to talk about who you are, but one of the most difficult things is sometimes to take that articulation of who you are and turn into a why an individual should want to work for you as well. So the key part of the work around that was understanding what it was like to work for Yodel and what that promise is for an organisation. And critical to that is authenticity. Authenticity and being clear that what it is that you're telling people are actually going to be like really what it is like when you arrive at the organisation as well. So we also have very different audiences that we're talking about. Nisha talked a little bit about the scale of the organisation. There are people who need to deliver in every postcode within the UK. There's a mix between employed staff. There are self-employed partners. So whilst they may be seen to be it, they are self-employed, they are partners to the organisation as well. So the messaging and the reasons to join are very different. Similarly for the head offices and for the various sort centres and all of the technical skills that are required to run the business. We had to fit in with the marketing changes, with the marketing and the changes to the employer brand, and we all had to do it in quick time. So what did we do? Well, the first thing that we did is say, before we start this, we have to understand you, we have to understand your people. And I'd say this to anybody, before you start on any type of EVP, employer brand process, think about the steps that you need to do. And really, right at the start of it has to be research. So we did desk research, we did calls, we did focus groups. We identified all of the key audiences that there were and spoke to them so that we had a real picture. Because actually, when we went back to the business, every recommendation that we were making needed to be based on fact and need to be evidenced in what people were saying as well. So we did a lot of the research. And the purpose of the research was to understand, first of all, what all of the attributes are. What is it that people think about working with Yodel? What are the key attributes to it? And once you've understood what those attributes are, we were able to develop what we thought was going to be the core essence for the EVP. And what we're now going to do is show you a little bit of a secret. When we first presented this to Nisha, the rest of the team as well, we said, look, don't worry about this. No one is ever going to see it. And here we are in front of 100 people on video talking about it. But I think it's really important because the research gives you attributes. You get a wheel because when you speak to all of these various, if you like, communities within the organisation, there are some really key messages that rang true that everyone identified with. And those are the attributes around the outside. Everybody wanted to go the extra mile to ensure that the parcel, the package was delivered. Whether that was in head office or whether that was actually the people who were delivering that package in the last mile, there was a real feeling within the organisation that getting that delivery there was key. We've talked a lot about flexibility as well. It was about ensuring that there's flexibility, whether you were in head office or whether you were delivering to deliver your message as well. And there's lots more there, but to bring it all together, the real essence of what it was like to work for Yodel was about delivering promises. Delivering promises, that parcel was to be delivered for the customer and to the person, the recipient. And Yodel are critical to make sure, whether it's a birthday present, whether it's Christmas, that people get what it is that they want. And that came really true. And that became the essence for the EVP.
Thanks, Toby. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how we brought it all to life. And one of the first things that we decided to do as an organisation and as a resourcing team is put our people, our employees and our colleagues front and centre of everything that we were going to be designing going forward. So, I mean, of course, it is possible when you're designing a website, you can use stock images, stock video, that is absolutely your choice. And this is a lot more costly of an option, but definitely it's helped us in the long run to get some really fantastic images, but also shoots where we've involved employees and shown really what our people are doing every day, working really, really hard, and what their stories are to help Yodel to do what we're saying we're trying to do here, is deliver promises. We carried out some shoots feels like last year, but it was actually only a few months ago, on some of the hottest days of the year. So some of our photos do look like we're on a tropical island as opposed to Windsor in the West Midlands. But it was fantastic. We visited a couple of our operational sites, our head office locations, and even my house. So I'll never forget the day that a video crew, makeup artists, vans, drivers, a camera rig all turned up at my house, and my OCD husband was like, which toilet are they going to use? It was ours. But it went really, really well, and now we've actually got fantastic images for our website, but also fantastic images that we can also use for future campaigns as well. With regards to also another kind of really important factor and the key learning that I've gained from doing video shoots as well is try and involve your marketing stakeholders right from the go-get. So we had Erica, who works in our marketing team as a manager, join us on every single shoot, and it was really worthwhile because she was there to make sure that the colleagues that we were taking pictures of had the right uniform on, that the boxes and parcels that were in the shoots were the parcels that we should be using, and even down to, you know, did the people have the right health and safety and high-vis and gloves on? And that definitely helps post-shoot because editing was much, much quicker. So definitely, if you can, and they're on board with it, involve marketing right from the beginning. I now think we're going to do the thing that I hate to do in presentations, is show some videos. So hopefully it will work. But this is actually a video of one of our female drivers, who's a HGV driver with us, Yasmin, just giving you a bit of an insight how to use video content on our website. So good, wish me luck.
Basically, day leads, some are always different. There's never the same day twice, as some people say. The jobs are great, you know, simple, straightforward, you know, the hours are good, the deliveries are easy, and overall Yodel as a company are great to work for. Staff are helpful all the time. When I leave Yodel at the end of a shift, I feel happy, content, and great I've played my part for the end of the day.
One thing I just wanted to say there is we didn't have any scripts for any of our videos. So, of course, there was somebody there from the camera crew asking questions so that the people involved in the shoots knew what to respond to. But these are our colleagues' words, nothing's been scripted. And I think that's really important to being authentic, which is one of the key things, as I said, Toby's mentioned that we wanted to be when developing our employer brand. So, our flagship career site. So, before I talk you through what our new career site looks like, I just want to quickly share with you what our old career site looked like, just so you can see the journey that we've been on. So here's our old career site, and we have one, so big tick. It was a transactional website, so you could definitely go on there and apply for a job, 100% on desktop, maybe on mobile. The application process was quite lengthy. Before Ben joined our organisation, he tried to apply for a HGV driver role. I think he likened it to saying that it probably would have been easy to become a doctor. It took absolutely ages to do an application on our website, unfortunately. The website had hot jobs, and I think that really sums up how old our website is. I mean, what is a hot job? Every job should be really important. And to be honest, we always used to fight about who's going to select what a hot job is. So we had hot jobs. We don't anymore. And overall, basically, it just offered, unfortunately, a bit of an outdated candidate experience. I feel like I should have a drum roll now. Can you give me a drum roll, Toby?
Thank you.
I'm joking. So, in terms of the brief that we gave to SMRS, before I share the website, I just want to help you understand what 6 months ago we sat down in a room and told SMRS that we wanted as an organisation. So going back to what I've just mentioned, at the heart of our designs, we wanted to make sure our people were front and centre, and we wanted to make sure that any design that we had was also a mobile class website. And that might be unusual to some people because a lot of people, when they are directing their agency to design websites, will go for responsive design. But the reason that we went for a mobile-first website is that we looked at our data, and that's, again, something really important and it's worth doing. And we looked at where our traffic was coming from. And our data showed us that over 63% of our visitors to our website were coming through either mobile or tablets, and 64% were actually applying through those devices as well. So this is the reason we decided to go for a mobile-first approach when designing our website. The other thing that we asked for, and it was a bit of a shopping list, it might sound a bit like a shopping list as well, is that we wanted the website to be attention-grabbing, but in a good way. We wanted it to be really simple and easy for people to not only look for roles, but then apply for our roles as well. We all know how difficult it is to find those candidates, and the last thing you want to do is when they finally hit your website is lose them because the process to apply takes far too long. We really wanted to make sure that anybody visiting our website had a unique candidate journey. And what I mean by that is that, yes, we recruit for support function roles, so IT managers, but as I said, a volume of our vacancies are drivers and blue-collar roles. So we wanted to make sure that if a driver was coming onto our website, they had a unique experience and an experience that befitted the role they were applying for, which was different to maybe somebody looking for a support function role. And the other thing that we wanted to do is, as I said, be really transparent about what self-employed meant. So by using video and copy and content, really explain to people and be really transparent and open and honest about if you're self-employed, these are what your benefits are, and if you're employed, these are the different benefits that you have. So nobody could come into the business and not have a clear understanding of what the key differences were between those two propositions. And finally, as I mentioned right at the beginning, we wanted to improve our candidate experience. So working with SMRS and also another supplier called Meet and Engage, we wanted to integrate chatbot technology to improve our candidate experiences as well. I'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a moment. So here's our new website. I'll give you a second. I do still feel a bit like a proud mum when I look at this website because a lot of kind of blood, sweat and tears has gone in through all of SMRS team and my team as well. And we are really proud about what we've created. I think hopefully you'll agree that SMRS have taken our brief, really understood it, and delivered something back that is very much clean and simple, that you can see from the images on the screen there that our people are definitely front and centre. On every single page of our website, we have a hero image of an employee that works in our business. And also, you'll see that from this page, it's really easy to apply as well. Every single page has a call to action to apply on there that moves around with you as you move through the careers website. One of the things that we've done is also work with our marketing team to make sure that we're on brand. So our website does reflect our corporate brand. It's not the same as our corporate brand, but definitely does reflect our corporate brand. And that makes sure that all of our internal stakeholders are happy. we're really excited at Yodel that we've joined a really small community of people who have started to use chatbot technology on their careers websites. This is something very, very new. It only went live on Wednesday the 31st. So we have been working with, as I said, Meet and Engage, and what we wanted to do is see how we could use chatbot technology to improve the candidate experiences for our driver candidates. The reason we chose our driver candidates is that's because where all the volume of our applications is coming from. We decided to embed two different types of chatbots into our careers website. The first is what we call a Match Me bot. So if you visit any of our driver pages, a bot will appear, and the bots have actually been named after the project team. So I have a sister bot. So if you go on to being a courier on our website, you'll meet Nisha the bot. And the Match Me bot will basically go through a set of really simple questions with you to qualify you for the role. It will make sure that your lifestyle choices, your salary expectations are all being met. If they are being met, we'll ask for your postcode, and we'll also then deliver up for you unique vacancies in your area, allowing you to really quickly apply for roles. The other place that we've used bots is for Screen Me. As I mentioned, my resourcing team are really busy at the moment trying to attract 3,000 people, and they have to go through a number of telephone screenings to qualify candidates for really basic attributes. Have you got a driving licence for a driver role? It's one of the questions we have to ask. By integrating a Screen Me bot, what we have now done is once someone has actually applied, we'll send them a link or a text message to take part in a screening with a chat bot, and that chat bot will then take them through all those basic questions to qualify those candidates. So then our ATS will update the system, and our team will know that when they're speaking to candidates that have been qualified by the bot, they 100% already tick all those basic boxes about the skills and experiences required to work with us. In terms of how effective the bot has been, as I said, it is fairly new, but straight away the feedback we've had has actually been really, really positive. And for my team, it's been an amazing experience to work with candidates that already have been screened. I could go on and on about chatbots, but I think that's a conversation for a completely different day, so I think I'll leave it there. But if anyone's got any questions at the end, I'll be happy to answer them. And back to Toby.
Well, there was an awful lot of work to do to get the website live, to get the EVP there. Nisha and the team were fantastic, but at the same time, we still have this requirement to hit a huge volume of recruits into the team of the right candidates to make sure that the business can deliver its promise to their customers as well. So we actually need to make sure that at the same time as doing this, we were developing and planning an agile campaign strategy so that once everything was right, we were ready to go live. We've talked a lot today about some of the changes in technology and actually the requirement to have data, insight and targeting right at the heart of any attraction campaign that you're doing. And that is something that we worked very closely with the team on while all of this other work was going on to make sure that we knew exactly where we were going to be, that we had a digital-first attraction strategy ready to go live on a combination of job boards, programmatic activity, performance channels as well. Because critically, when you're trying to find huge volumes, but you have to have individuals in every postcode within the UK, you can't have a catch-all approach. It needs to be targeted, it needs to be really clear, and fundamentally as well, it needs to be optimized. So you have to have data that feeds through, and we have almost daily calls on where are the requirements at the moment, how do we turn our digital activity up and down to ensure that the messages are hitting the right people where Yodel need the applications as well. To do that as well, we had to develop content. We developed HTML emailers, banners, buttons, also stands as well for events so the resourcing team could use them. So there was a whole range of different materials that supported the EVP and the website, because critically it's about finding the right numbers in the right areas at the right timelines to fill the pipeline. And Nisha.
So, just to finish off then, the results that we've had from our employment brand project have been really positive. Since the website went live in the 19th of September, we have seen over 467,000 visitors come to our website. We've seen over 31,000 people click on the apply button, And we've seen an increase in both the sessions completed and overall completed applications as well. So that investment, all that time and energy has worked for us. And just my last slide, and kind of what I wanted to do is just part with some key learnings from somebody who's basically led quite a big project quite quickly, just that if you are deciding to do something similar, it might help you. The first thing is really be careful about the partner you select. We were lucky, we worked with SMRS, and they really understood what we wanted, both from timescales and budget. And I think that's really important. I think also when you're doing a project of this scale, make sure you have a really clear idea about what you like and what you don't like. When we had that initial meeting with SMRS and talked about what our website might look like, we had some really clear examples of sites that we'd been on and visited, of competitors and other big companies, and what we liked about those sites, so they could then go away and design something that matched our requirements. We really wanted to make sure that everybody who worked in the Yodel were involved in the project, but obviously you can't involve everyone because too many voices become too difficult to manage. But we did make sure we selected a number of key stakeholders that we involved right from the beginning, from when Ben got the exec approval through to the operational kind of shoots, etc., to make sure that everyone always knew what we were doing and that their voices and feedback were heard throughout the process, to make sure that everything that we delivered met everyone's objectives. I think the other kind of thing that I've learned about this project is that you need to talk an awful lot to your agency and to each other. So communication is absolutely a massive part of a project of this scale. And one of the things that we found really, really helpful was using a tool called Basecamp. And that meant that when things need to be pushed through, things needed to be signed off, or just for general updates, everybody could access Basecamp whenever they wanted, from whatever device they wanted, and could be kept up to date at any point. And then finally, and this is kind of the most important point for me really, is when you're doing a project, anything involving MVP or employer brand, maintain your own identity. It can be really easy to replicate what other people are doing out there. I have to be honest, when I was doing the research for websites, I looked at Spotify and Airbnb and all those other big brands out there, but it wouldn't have been right for us as Yodel, the deliverer of brown parcel boxes, to have a website like that. So one of the things that I would say about a project regarding employer brand or careers website is be true to yourselves. Be authentic and sell what is actually really the honest and EVP for your business. And that's it.